If you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough. I don't know if you guys have heard that from the old Jackass movies, but it reminds me a lot of this subject. If you're gonna take drugs, seriously, just watch this first. I put this whole presentation together for you guys, and if those of you that are new to the channel, who am I? Like, who the hell is this dude? What makes him a figure to talk about this? My name is Mike Shear. I am 30 years old. I've been in the bodybuilding space in some capacity for 12 years. I started when I was 17. I've been through the military. I was in the military for 8 years. Honestly, I've only done a handful of shows, maybe 4. I am an open bodybuilder, or I would be considered an open bodybuilder. In the NPC, there's not, it's not open, there's weight classes, but as a bodybuilder, you really only want to compete every couple years anyways because of how big you have to be. I've gotten up to 293 pounds in the height of my off season. I'm now prepping for my very last and final show, and I am 280 pounds right now. So this is something that I've done for a long, long time. I've been around. I've made every mistake in the book. I've worked at supplement stores. I've owned a gym. I've personal trained. I'm a coach now. This is the way that I try to help my clients. Obviously, we can't go super in depth because I'm not one-on-one like mentoring most of you guys. But what I can do is provide as much free value for people as I can to kind of help you guys. Because this is something that when I worked at a supplement store, I heard all the time. And I think that people assume that bigger guys like myself, 5'9", 290 pounds, they assume that we all like get in this group in the gym and we're like, shh, like don't tell them if they take drugs they'll make progress. Try to tell them to get their diet in line. Like that does not happen. There's not a conspiracy theory of guys that know how to get big in the gym that are like, yeah, don't tell them to take drugs because it'll work. Like that's not it. Will drugs work? Yeah, but I'm going to show you how to put drugs on drugs with this video is essentially what we're going to do. And I'm just going to kind of warn you about things. And the purpose of this video is not to get you to not take them. It's to get you to think for yourself and take them if you want to take them, but take them in a smart way. So we'll just kind of get right into it. This top picture is actually me in the military during survival training. This was 2019. I lost like 20 pounds on this trip. We spent a whole week in the woods there. And then as you can see, still in the military down here. This is after an 18-hour flying day. We actually just landed in Miami. And we were awake for too long, kind of like truck drivers. We had been flying for too long because we had to take so many detour routes that day that instead of flying home, we weren't allowed to fly home because we would have extended our hours. So we had to stop and stay in Miami. So it was a super long day. We didn't have hotels. So we had to go to the hotels, pick one out, find one that, I think there's only 5 of us for crew. Because the C-130 you only need 3, but we had like 100 paratroop guys in the back. So you can see how that was a mess. That was a long, late night, and I was giving the crazy guys, but I looked sick. And the reason is because of what I'm about to teach you guys. And the foundations, the principles. So this was 2021 in this top picture. This bottom picture, honestly, if I had to guess, the top picture was 2019. The bottom picture was 2021, right after COVID. This one right here. This was prepping for my very first NPC show down here. So you can see how much progress we made. And just for anyone that's already thinking about drugs, this guy was on drugs. And this guy was also on drugs. Just so everybody knows. I'm going to show you the difference. Obviously, I look horrible here. I had lost 20 pounds in the woods. We didn't have a ton of food. We just kind of ate what they gave us. That was part of the challenge. So it was a really challenging time. We didn't even have a gym to work out in because the only gym we had was basically the Sear gym, like the real gym. And they don't really lift weights. They just kind of beat the shit out of each other and do CrossFit, to be honest. So it was very tough for me to maintain any muscle. And mentally, this was the hardest time I'd ever had. But anyways, I want to talk to you guys about building your foundation. Because honestly, this is where almost everybody goes wrong. Like and the thing about the foundation is it's very true in this as well. If you set this up wrong, guys, you can't fix it. It's already done. Like if you take drugs too early or you try SARMs too early, you'll mess up your foundation and then there's a crack in it for the rest of your life. And these are the guys that you see like The same guys you see in your 40s and 50s that you don't want to look like, that look the same, and they're has-beens, and they talk about woulda, coulda, shoulda, I look like that, I lifted this, you know, the annoying ones. That's who you're going to be if you jump the gun, because that's exactly who they were. They jumped the gun, they did the drugs, they gained the weight, and then they lost it all. And I'm going to explain why. Now, this is going to be the most important step. You know, whether you want to go natural, or whether you want to use drugs, or whether you want to stay natural to a certain point, and then get on TRT. Like, this is going to help every single person watching this can benefit from this. And all I'm doing, guys, is I'm breaking down how I did it. This is the method that I used to do it. So if you use this method, you'll be successful too. I mean, as long as you like the way I look. Because as you can see, this top picture, that's not a very big guy. That, a pretty big guy. All right, so let's just jump right in. This is level 1. And this is not level 1, but this is prepping for my very first natural show. So as you can see, like, I do have kind of good leg genetics. I had a little bit of lat action, very tiny. And honestly, what's funny is I look the same, just added muscle. And that's how you can start to see structures and things like that. Now, it's super, super important to note, like, this is no bullshit. 80% of people don't get past level 1. 80% do not get past level 1. And what do I mean by that? Level 1 is literally the fuel that you put in your body, because food is fuel. It's how intense you train. It's survival, aka cardio. I call it survival because we should always be moving. It should never be looked at like a punishment. And sleep, right? Most people can't hit those 4 for 30 days to save their life. And that's where you stop. If you can't get past level 1, that's where then, and it's the same with every level. When you get stuck at a level, that physique you have at that level is the physique you keep forever. And that's why you see guys hit a certain point in the gym and then they're stuck. And they think they're stuck for many other reasons. They're stuck because I promise you, if we would look at their foundation, if we would look at the 4 levels that I'm going to take you guys through, you would see that one of them has a crack in it or is massively missing, and they're stuck at the level they don't know how to pass. And business, if you guys are ever interested, in coaching and anything is much like this. In business, if you don't get step 1 right, you can't move on to step 2. If you don't make $10,000 a month, you can't make $30,000 a month. And obviously someone's going to call me out on that. It's a loose term. There's nuances. Get over it. So back to this. All you've got to do, what I mean by this is when I first started, I literally went to, dude, what's the website now? Bodybuilding.com, I think it was. And I looked up bulking diets. I picked one that had foods I figured I could down, like eggs, oatmeal, chicken, rice, protein shakes, all that stuff. And all I did was I followed it for 30 days. And the reason you want to start like that is because, guys, more than anything, the diet doesn't matter, the foods you eat doesn't matter. It's all about developing the principles. And that's why now I can see this at a very high level and I can look down and show you guys like, hey, I learned this in bodybuilding. Don't make these mistakes. And that's why you guys have an advantage, because if you're at the bottom looking up at the top of the mountain, you're like, how do I get past that little pass? How do I get through those trees or those bushes? Or the trail ends there. Where do I go? Should I go around? Because sometimes, guys, the fastest path to the top is actually, it looks like this, right? You don't always, not always. Sometimes it looks fast to go straight, and then right before you hit the peak of the mountain, there's a dead end. And somehow you can't go around. You're stuck. Now you got to come down the mountain and then go up. And the right way might be right, left, right, left, right. That might happen. And that's why I'm telling you guys, if you build this the right way, the rest of it is easy. Because it doesn't matter the diet you pick. It doesn't even matter if you set it up yourself. Just set a diet and be consistent. That is a win at level 1. And same thing. This is in level 1, you want to learn how to train intense. I have plenty of videos on that. I try to show you guys on my stories. So try and do that. Number 3, like I said, everybody thinks of cardio as a punishment. Oh, I don't want to do it. I don't want to. Listen, cardio is awesome in all stages, whether you're bulking or cutting. If you're bulking, it helps to keep your heart healthy, which is super important because you're gaining weight. And it also can help keep your metabolism going because you're burning a little bit extra calories. And then when you're cutting, like obviously it's super important. And so the thing is, if you can shift your thinking to this is what I do to survive because we used to as hunter-gatherers, you'll have a much easier time. Like, I live in an apartment complex, and when I had a dog, it was like I was just walking 6 times a day. Guys, that was literally, by itself, that was 3,600 steps just from dog walks, let alone the gym. And a lot of times you guys don't need cardio. Like, you don't need actual cardio. You just need survival. Like, you literally just need to walk. You just need to put a watch on, and you just need to, and again, the number on here is irrelevant. You know, I don't care if it says, like, because some people are like, well, when I'm washing the dishes, it says this and that, or when I shake it, it doesn't matter. Here's the thing. If you always wear your watch and you always wear it on the same hand, then generally every day you do the same stuff. So it doesn't really matter the number. It's just increasing or decreasing based off what you see in your physique. You might walk 15,000 steps to get the same result as I walk 10,000 steps, but you might also chop wood for work, right? So obviously this is probably going to all count as steps, whereas mine wouldn't. So don't get too caught up in the numbers. And that goes for any tools that we use, whether that's a scale, whether that's a watch, no matter what it is. Just like even looking at cardio or calories burned on cardio equipment, it does not matter what it says. If it says 200 and you hit 200 and you don't lose weight, up it to 250. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter if you go hard AF for 30 minutes and it says you burn 10 calories. It's still a baseline. If you burn 11 calories the next day, you're burning more calories. So that's just one side note. Like, don't get caught up in that. And then nail your sleep. It is so, so, so important, guys. And I can show you this when I'm actually like dieting down in prep, because I'll show you, I'll keep track. When I get 8 hours of sleep, I will lose weight. When I get 5 hours of sleep, I will gain weight. And it will be very, very important as I get close to the show. And that plays a part for you guys too. The thing is, I'm done with the stage. This is my last competition, for those of you that don't know. And if you go to my Instagram, you'll quickly find out why. But the whole point in telling you that is, the thing is, there's so many good lessons you learn for prep that I'm going to take from prep and give to you guys for free to use in your own life. But what I mean by that is, like, when you get as lean as we do in prep, like 5%, 4% body fat, all these little things that you normally can't see are showing up. So then you know it works, right? So like if I sleep not enough and I wake up, I will look shitty. And then if I sleep really well, I will wake up and I will look good. It's harder to see when you have more body fat, which is why it's important for me to demonstrate these techniques to you while I'm lean, so you can understand it will work for you as well. Same thing with sleep, same thing with steps. It's all of that. It's all of that. So, I mean, I can't sit on this step for long enough. If you can't pass level 1, literally don't ever take drugs. Don't ever do anything. Honestly, maybe don't even continue going to the gym, because if you can't hit these 4, like, I promise you won't make progress. I promise you. I promise you 1,000% you will not make progress. Promise. And that's when everyone starts looking for SARMs and drugs, and that doesn't work either. So just don't do it. And now I know some of you are going to do it, but I just wish you wouldn't. Hopefully by the end of this video, I can persuade you. All right, so level 2. This is the first time I hit 200 pounds. Thought I was a badass. Definitely wasn't. So you're going to add in number 5, which is supplements. We're not moving to drugs yet, because honestly in step 4, or step 1, like level 1, with the 4 steps, you don't need any supplements. Like pre-workout, guys, coffee. Electrolytes, salt. Pre-workout, coffee, salt with honey. You'll get a killer pump. Like, I've done all this. I'm not just sitting on a high horse telling you guys this. When money was tight, I've drank coffee for pre-workout before, and I was just fine. Literally just fine. Supplements that you want to add, this is where you want to continue building your foundation. So you want to add in creatine. It's literally good for everyone aged 0 to 150. Like, literally, there's so many studies on it. If you don't know that yet, like, honestly, just take my word or ask ChatGPT right now, and it'll tell you a million reasons why you should take creatine. There are no side effects. There is nothing bad about it. But you've got to make sure you take it every day. Vitamins you need to take for your overall health. When I get people started out, I usually just start with like a men's daily multivitamin, because the right way to do it is get your blood work done, see where you're deficient, and then supplement. Some vitamins are actually more powerful than people think. Like if you have like blown out adrenal glands, or like that means like you feel shaky all the time, or you feel like you have adrenaline all the time, or some symptoms like that, and you start taking these like core ease or just anything to relax you, like adrenal core, you could actually mess your health up more. So that's why I'm very careful with vitamins that I just prescribe to everybody or just tell everybody to take. Obviously, like, vitamin D3 and K2, that can't hurt. Omega-3s, that definitely can't hurt. A digest aid, that's good. Some sort of glucose disposal agent, which all that is just helps your glucose move basically easier through the body, be easier digested as well. There's a product I'm looking at right here, glucose from Revive. I literally take this every day. And it just, you'll feel the difference with this. That's what's crazy. You take 2 of those and then have carbs, or you take 2 of those and then you have a meal with a lot of carbs, and you'll be just fine. You'll be hungry faster than normal. So the supplements I would recommend adding in, though, is creatine, because it's safe for everyone. Vitamins, such as the ones I listed. And if you're just not sure and you're going to do your blood work, I would just start with a men's daily. And then electrolytes. That can be the LMNT packets. Define Hydrate makes one. You guys have seen these. Liquid IV. A lot of them are good, but you want to make sure it's got potassium, sodium, and things like that. Actual electrolytes. And do not, if it's creatine and electrolytes or HMB and electrolyte, don't mix it with anything. Just get electrolytes. Don't worry about all that other BS. That's just marketing. They're trying to sell you other stuff. It's not that it's bad for you, it's just unnecessary. Electrolytes are very cheap. All the other stuff, when they combine it, are not very cheap. So, for example, you look to spend about $30 to $45 on a month's supply of electrolytes. If you're much higher than that, I would question it. And then supplements to avoid at level 2, literally everything. I should add in here, I'll do it literally on site, protein, obviously, because we should have protein powder. But other than that, at this phase, what you need to avoid in the supplement store is everything else. It's all bullshit. You don't need protein bars. You don't need protein sticks. You don't need SARMs. You don't need pre-workout. If you want pre-workout, take it. But a lot of it is shit anyways. And it's just a distraction. And then it becomes a crutch where you associate good workouts with pre-workout. And then if you don't take pre-workout, then you feel like you're not going to have a good workout. I personally don't like to be addicted to things like that. I wouldn't recommend it. That Kratom shit you see, do not touch that. Everybody's promoting that it's really cool and it's so good and blah blah. They're getting addicted, and it's dude, it's like a drug. Do not touch it. They don't know enough about it. They don't understand it. I've seen people get literally addicted and put a huge post about a real talk. Hey, time to have a real talk and tell you guys what this is really like. And there's other bodybuilders that are still pushing it. They're okay with it right now. I'd like to see what happens with them when they try to quit and they have all the withdrawal and the crashes. But to each their own. I've never taken it, never will. So I would just avoid, and this is coming from someone that worked in a supplement store. I know that shit is bullshit. Creatine is great. What I was going to say about it, same thing. Don't buy a creatine that's mixed with anything. Don't worry about that stuff. But when you buy creatine monohydrate in the purest powder form, just buy the cheapest one you can find. Because here's the thing. Here's a little industry secret. Most of them come from the same manufacturing plants. So it literally doesn't matter. I remember the First Form creatine at one point. I think First Form manufactures their own now. But at one point, First Form's creatine and our local brand creatine and Core Nutritional's creatine all came from the same manufacturer. So why pay more for the same powder? You know what I mean? And just think about that. That's just pretty true. The biggest manufacturers are going to have 2 or 3 companies that want them to make their stuff. So but there's some supplements you don't want to skimp out on. Creatine is one that I can tell you, as long as it's creatine monohydrate and it's in its purest form and it's alone by itself, just creatine, it'll work. I wouldn't go with the pills or the gummies. And the thing is, I know that some people have a hard time with the powder. I totally hear you. And I'm not even going to talk shit on the gummies, even though we're adults and why are you chewing things? But the real is, when I was there, the amount of times that the capsules or the gummies were found out to be not dosed properly was a lot. And so the problem there is if you think you're taking creatine and you're not, then you're just literally wasting your money. And they're more expensive to even begin with. And you have to take creatine every day or it won't work. So if you're taking these gummies and they say they're 5 milligrams, but they're really, or 5 grams, but they're really 2 grams, then you just spent like realistically $45 on 30-day supply of creatine for nothing. When I know you can get it online, you can get creatine powder for $30 for 100 servings, which is a 100-day supply. So just something to think about. And that's what I would add for level 2. Once you get this down, and I'm telling you, this might take you a year. It just depends on how dedicated you are. Take 30 days and nail this shit down, because once you do, move to level 2, you add in a little bit of supplements, and you're going to start to see results. And I'm telling you, I have natural people in my program right now, literally right now. I can think of 2 off the top of my head. Tyler's gained almost 20 pounds, and Daniel's gained almost 20 pounds. We literally started at the beginning of this year. We started 6 months ago, and they both gained 20 pounds, and they're both in their early 20s, and neither of them are on drugs, and they both take minimal supplements. They don't take any more supplements than I just listed right here. So if you think you need more than, and listen, Tyler started out at 108 pounds. 108 pounds. So don't tell me like you're too little, you can't eat, blah, blah, blah. You just haven't set the foundation. Once I taught Tyler and Daniel to set this foundation, they both skyrocketed, and they're killing it. They literally gain weight every single week. So that's level 2. Level 3, this is me, honestly, maybe a couple years ago when regular clothes would fit and I could dress nice, which I actually look huge there, which is cool, but and I was eating out. This was at a steakhouse. So you need to learn how to eat out and how to be flexible, right? It's a very simple concept, but it's not easy for everyone. And the reason you need to do this is because like there's going to be days when you're really busy at work. Maybe you work a blue collar job or even a white collar job. Like maybe I used to be an analyst at one point. Maybe, I get sometimes lost in the sauce with the numbers and I just love what I did. And then next thing you know, I haven't eaten in 5 hours. Or you need to grind out 6 hours and then you're going to eat late. So these are all things you need to be familiar with. This is basically the last phase before you're going to do something else. So it's very important because if you're at an airport, if you're on a road trip, if you're visiting family, if you're out of town, you need to learn how to eat out and be flexible. That doesn't mean you're like stuck to your diet and just super glued to it. That doesn't mean that. What it means though is you need to be able to pick smart enough options to hold everything together until you get back to nail it and then continue forward. It's not like you have to make progress while you're traveling, but you should be able to maintain the progress, if that makes sense. And what do I mean by this? I mean like, and I can make another video on this. I'm not going to go super, super in depth with this, but it's like, just pick smart options. Like don't pick Chick-fil-A and Panda Express. Pick Chipotle or Qdoba or Moe's if you guys have it, or Subway or Jersey Mike's or Bad Daddy's. You guys probably don't have that one. I think that's pretty local. Or Five Guys Burgers and Fries. You know what I mean? But any of those, honestly. Like the thing is, steakhouses, burger places, like not McDonald's, not Brahms, like real burger places, real steak places, like. You just want places that they have like real food. And it's kind of hard to explain because it's so automatic for me. But like, just make sure it has nutrients. And essentially look at their protein. As long as their protein's not super fatty and they have nutrients and they have some sort of carb, it's usually pretty good. Like you can get really good food at a steakhouse and 90% of it is really okay. It's where you get in trouble is going to Cheesecake Factory, going to Pizza Hut, going to Wingstop. Those will ruin what you're trying to do. So just learning how to flip that switch and understand, the difference and how to navigate is the most important part. And then at the same time, you want to start tracking your macros. If you have a diet or if you make your own diet up, the reason you track your macros is because, and don't copy and paste because I'm going to teach you this, because I learned this one as a coach because I always had a coach before. But then when I started coaching, You put together so many meal plans and you change them so many different times. I mean, imagine making 1,000 meal plans. You probably know how many grams of rice or how many grams of carbs are in rice or how many grams of carbs are in a banana, an apple, blueberries, eggs, egg whites, bacon. Like, for the most part, the macros of all this stuff off the top of your head. And I might not know it like off the top of my head, but I know the ratios and I can do the math and I can figure it out right away. And that is the most useful skill, because even if you're stuck in the shittiest place, if you can read a nutritional label and figure out how to reorganize your macros to continue moving forward, that is a skill that like many, many people don't have. So just remember, you're not tracking it to like be consistent with tracking it. You're tracking it because every day you put 6 ounces of chicken in, you get to see how much protein, fat, and carb it has. And then you put 180 grams of jasmine in, you can see how much protein, fat, and carb it has. And then you put an avocado in there, and you can see how much protein, fat, and carb it has. And then you start to understand, oh, when I have 6 ounces of chicken and 180 grams of rice and 1 ounce of avocado, I'm having about, 12 grams of fat, I'm having 50 grams of carbs, and I'm getting about 32, 34 grams of protein, and that's going to be, 600 calories. These are all made up numbers. But when you can do that, that makes things so much easier. And it makes it easier to flip things around. And this is very important, because when you can get flexible with it, it unlocks different paths. And then when you're out and about, it's not so stressful. The problem is, though, everybody wants to go start at level 3. They want to do macros. They want me to give them their macros. They want to go do their own thing. But they don't understand. They don't understand that they can overeat on peanut butter. I've talked to like 4 people this week about that. Don't eat the fucking peanut, and they're like, what do you mean there's fat in it? Like, yeah, dude, there's 16 grams of fat. Stop eating it. Like, so much. And everything that people want to add to stuff is just fat. Going through this level 3 is going to be absolutely a pivotal point for you guys, because if you could do this, you will thrive. Like, if you can do level 1 and 2, like, you're going to have a badass physique. Like, I guarantee that. If you can do level 3, though, you're going to be able to maintain that physique forever, whether you're out and about or whether you're at home all the time. Like, that's why it's like, do not skip this. And then when you graduate level 3, guys, this is where level 4. And the thing is, I'm not putting these in place. You guys do whatever you want. You want to go down the street and buy SARMs or buy some stupid drug and fuck yourself up for the rest of your life? Go ahead. There's been people that come into the supplement store and ask me why they shouldn't do a SARM. I tell them not to do it, and then they're peeing blood and their dick doesn't work. And now they're asking me what to do. And I literally looked at them and I said the exact same. I said nothing. And they were like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, I literally told you that this would happen. I told you not to do it, and you did it, and there's nothing you can do now. Like, there's nothing to do. There are no steps. That is the step. Step 1, fuck yourself up. Step 2, that's it. And if you're a female watching this, you've got to be so careful. If you're a female, don't even touch SARMs, like, let alone barely drugs. And honestly, if you're a female and you want to touch drugs, you better be going off your blood work, because it is so dangerous. And the thing about females, for those of you that don't know, guys have to use a PCT or a post-cycle therapy. Girls don't have to do that. They don't have to cycle on and cycle off, which is crazy. But the other crazy thing is, a lot of side effects that happen to guys, you can reverse before it's official. With girls, if as soon as your voice goes lower, or as soon as like your female parts get messed up, that's it. Like, there is no reverse. That is it. And that's why it's like, it can literally be 1 too high dose of something, and then boom, your voice drops 3 octaves and you're stuck there. Don't do that if you're a female. Like, or do. Mess around and find out, I guess. Now, level 4, this is where you have decisions. But because you've built the foundation, no matter what you pick, it's going to be supercharged. So now imagine, there's kid 1 and kid 2. Now let's just call them 20-year-old 1 and 20-year-old 2. One guy is impatient as hell. He does SARMs, he does drugs, he gains 20 pounds, he looks great. He looks great, right? For the first 6 months, he's kicking ass. This guy over here, he says, nah, I'm going to stay natural for at least a year, and then I'll reevaluate. And he only gains 10 pounds of muscle. This guy, after 6 months, starts having crazy side effects. He's tired of needles, he's tired of doing the thing, and he stops, and guess what? He loses all the 20 pounds he gained. Now, this guy over here, he only gained 10 pounds, but he's holding it because it's natural. And then year 2, he decides to get on 500 milligrams of test, and now all of a sudden, he gains 35 pounds in year 2. And that is not an exaggeration, because you got to think, he's already understood how to grow naturally. Now he's adding a little sauce on top, and 35 pounds, that in an entire year is not unheard of. So Now this kid's going to be up 45 pounds, right? Kid that did it right. And the other kid is going to be up 0, which is crazy because a lot of you guys, what I see when people come into the store, when I used to work there, is there's 2 different types of thinking, right? And a lot of the people that make these dumb decisions to floor it at year 20 or whatever, like when they're 20 years old, is because they can't see the future. They don't see that, like, okay, just because I'm 20 and everyone around me is doing drugs, they're getting big now, but what do they look like at 30? Because trust me, guys, when I was 21, everybody was doing drugs and thought they were going to be bigger than me. And now at 30, there's not a single person in Oklahoma that has the amount of muscle I have. Not a single. Go ahead and find them. Not a single one. So, I mean, that's just the thing. Is like, build your foundation however you want. But I'm telling you, if you build it right, that's what gives you, it literally gives you a springboard to propel forward. So if you want to stay natural, stay natural. If you want to do SARMs, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about tests and other steroids and TRT. So here's natural. It's actually funny because some of you guys are going to want to roast me. But the thing is, my coach here, he's such a good guy. But I don't think he knew exactly how to peak me for a natural show. I can tell you now, looking back at this, I wasn't even close to lean enough. Like, not even close. I had no, like, this was terrible. I don't even know what this was. But for those of you that are going to talk shit and be like, oh, you need drugs, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. I have better natural pictures than this. I wanted to show this one because it's so bad. And number 2, like, I was living on base at Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma at the time. And because I lived on base, like, I was an airman basic. So I literally would walk across the hall or walk across the street to the DFAC, the dining facility. And I ate all my food that I ate for this prep was from the dining facility, which is crazy because I had no control. I had no kitchen. I had no money for the food like that. Like, I literally just ate at the dining facility, saved money, and that was it. That's what I did. Now, the main reason people don't stay natural is because they want to impress others. They have a big ego. They think they'll get girls. It's usually superficial. They want to be strong. They're tired of being small. And the thing is, what most guys don't realize is you can break out of that naturally. A lot of guys, like, and I know it doesn't translate on camera, but a lot of guys that see me in person, they don't want to be this big. Girls don't want to date a guy this big. Like, and I'm not trying to downplay it. I'm just saying, like, it's not all what it's meant out to be, right? No girl gives a shit. Guys care, but at my size, they're mostly just jealous haters. Like, and then all of it is superficial. And it's like, the thing is, if you're going to not stay natural for a superficial reason when you're 20, you're probably going to regret it when you're 30. Now, maybe you won't, but I'm just trying to warn you guys. There's nothing wrong with staying natural, even if it's just for a year. All right? Or if you're a power lifter, and you want to stay natural and see what numbers you can do naturally for a while before you switch, then do that. Now, here are SARMs. And I'm going to explain this because everyone I explained this to in the supplement store had no idea. For those of you guys that don't know, SARMs are literally failed pharmaceutical drugs. So what does that actually mean? What that actually means is, a while ago they were looking at testosterone, like NPP, Masteron, Equipoise, Sustanon, like all of these drugs, like whatever. And they were looking at what they do. And they're like, man, it'd be nice if we could do that without injecting someone. Like, if we could do that without injecting someone, we could just have them take a pill, and then they could do that, and that would be good. The problem is that all of these SARMs were made to replace I say real drug, but an anabolic, like an injectable drug, essentially. They were all made to replace one or another. What happened is none of them passed their clinical tests at all. Most of them were never even used on humans. And on the rats and stuff that they were used on, they caused a lot of issues. And the biggest thing with SARMs is they just attach to receptors. They don't always attach to the right receptors. They just attach to receptors. They don't always attach to the right ones. So you don't even, for some people, SARMs work. For other people, SARMs don't work at all. Some people get all the benefits, no side effects. Some people get all the side effects, no benefits. And that's the thing. Like, if I was going to take a drug that's going to alter my body, maybe I wouldn't take the one with a 50-50. Like, this isn't Russian roulette. This isn't, you're not playing at the casino guessing red or black. Like, that's not what this is. Now, if you take testosterone, guess what? There is no guess. If it's real, it'll work. If it's not real, it won't work. That's it. If it's real, it'll work. minimal side effects. If it's not real, it literally won't work. That's it. There are none. And if you use it at smart doses, there are none. So some of the common side effects that I had seen on people, even as early as 19, was like they talked about erectile dysfunction. Like, can't get a boner at 19. Does that sound cool to you? That doesn't sound cool to me. Bleeding, like bleeding when you pee, kidney pain, liver pain, stomach pain, throwing up. Like, these are all, like, and this isn't bullshit. I know local people, like, I know you guys don't live here, most of you, but like, I know people that live here. I know them. They're normal people that are having these side effects. Like, it's not like, oh, well, they probably overdosed or did too much. No. These are like regular dudes with regular jobs and wives that just want to get, they're literally like, I just want to get a little size and I'm afraid of needles. Well, guess what? Don't be afraid of fucking needles, because the SARMs are no joke. And then I just wanted to touch on MK because everyone thinks it's like a god drug and it's so stupid. All it does is inhibit your ghrelin receptor. Your ghrelin receptor just makes you hungry. So it makes you, your ghrelin receptor basically tells you, hey, you're full, stop eating. So MK basically dumbs that down, dulls it, stops it so that you don't know you're not hungry. Which I can see how it would be good for people that have a hard time eating. The thing is, most people that use this drug that have a hard time eating are like 105 pounds, and they just need to learn how to eat food. They don't need any help. You don't really need, like, I wouldn't even really try MK until you've actually done a proper bulk, because many people just, it's not even that they can't eat, it's they don't know what it's like to eat. It's miserable. Yes, that's right. That's the right way to do it. It's miserable. I had someone the other day ask me, how do you eat 950 grams of carbs without like metformin or insulin? With a fucking spoon. How else? All right, now testing others. I would recommend just be safe, get your blood work done, have someone to help. What I mean by that is like, have someone else look over your blood work. If you don't have a legit doc, like, do not go to your PCT and have them do blood work. Do not do that. Well, why, Mike? Well, because unfortunately, PCTs are kind of morons. Just gonna say it like it is. Yeah, I know I'm not a doctor. Yeah, I know I didn't go to school for 8 years, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a shit, because here's the thing. My PCT has diabetes and is losing both of his feet. So I don't think I'm going to listen to him. If you guys want to listen to him, you go right ahead. I'm not, and that's most doctors. Most of them are fat and they want to look down their nose at us and tell us how to diet. Do you want to speak to a dietitian? Not until you do. As you can see, like, that stuff pisses me off. But the point is, go to an actual blood work clinic, because yes, it will be more expensive, but yes, it will be worth it. First of all, they're going to run the right tests. Primary care doctors don't even know what tests to run, and I've watched mine read the test. Not good. Not a good sight. Number two, not only will they get the right blood work for you, they'll also read it for you, and then the good ones will also tell you what vitamins and supplements you should be taking on top of it. And if you go to one of these clinics, or your PCT or anyone, and your testosterone is 400 or less, and they tell you it's good to go, they're full of shit. Go somewhere else. Just go somewhere else. Learn how to actually pin properly. I see this a lot. Learn how to do like multiple sites. And this is like, again, people get afraid and they're like scared, but it's like, yo, use your quad, use your lat, use your rear delt, use your side delt, use your glutes. Like, those are 5 spots right there. And 5 times 2 sides is 10 sides. If you do 10 shots a month, well, then you only got to hit everything once. And people were like, why? Well, it's so easy to, well, why? Here's why. If you hit the same spot over and over and over and over and over and over, week after week, you'll build up scar tissue. It'll actually become really hard. And then when you try to put the needle in, it'll be like trying to push it through a desk. And if you do get it in, pushing the actual stuff into you will be a nightmare. It'll be so hard, so painful, and then you'll be shaking and moving the needle. Like, don't do it. If you don't rotate sites, like, you are an idiot. Do not do that. And just because you're afraid, don't put your health in jeopardy. And I don't give a shit if the doctor said, go left thigh, right thigh, left thigh. They don't even know what they're doing. They don't even understand. Like, listen, if you're going to do this for a really long time, like, because I probably started when I was 24, you've got to think about stuff like that. What are you going to do if you're 50 and you need a shot and everywhere you've done is scar tissue because you did shoulders for a year, you did glutes for a year? If you ruin the site is gone. So don't ruin it. And also take care of your body. You don't want scar tissue like that. That's not cool. All right. And this is where I make this note. Like, if you haven't gained 20 pounds naturally, don't do this. Now, I should change this to 10 to 20 because honestly, everyone's a little bit different. But seriously, if you can't learn to gain and put on weight naturally or have someone help you do it, you do not have any business taking tests or anything else. The only other thing I would say is start small, really way smaller than you think. This is not advice at all. If I was you, I in theory, maybe theoretically would possibly start at like 300 and go to 400 and then go to 500. Something like that. I'm not telling you to do it. I haven't done it, never done it. I don't know. But I don't know. And the reason is because many people start up here. Guys, if you can start down here and gain 10 pounds, do it. And then level up and gain 20 pounds, do it. The thing is, if you start up here, you can't, the best way to say this is, you can't start here and then go here. You can't. But you can start here and always go up. And the thing is, if you get too high here, you'll get really toxic. And then if you get too high here and you're really toxic and you do it too early, you will die. So just be smart. Because again, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying build the foundation so that when you do it, imagine you gain 20 pounds naturally. And then you add in, imagine you gain 20 pounds naturally, and then you add in like test at 500 milligrams, and you gain another 20 pounds. That's 40 pounds. If you're 200 pounds, can you imagine being 240 pounds of muscle? Guys, that's a huge difference. Whereas when you don't build the foundation, so you don't do the 20 pounds, you essentially go from 205, let's say, to 225, and then as soon as you stop taking the help, that's it. Because you haven't trained intense, you don't know how to follow a diet, you don't know how to eat flexibly, you don't know how to track your macros. Essentially, you know nothing. You're just like everybody else in the gym, just popping pills and shit. So start small and increase reasonably. Also have an aromatase inhibitor on hand, because if you feel like your nipples are sensitive or something, you can actually, guys, you can actually save that. If your nipples feel sensitive, like, don't be weird and be like, oh, I'm not going to tell anyone because it's weird. It will harden over time, and then you're fucked. Excuse my language, but it will harden over time, and then you're screwed. So if you feel a lump, if it feels weird, like, start taking an AI. I'm telling you, because if you feel it and you're just embarrassed about it and you don't do anything, it'll harden. And I'm telling you, gyno surgery is going to be a lot more embarrassing than just taking an AI when you notice your nipples are sensitive. That's fine. As test rises, estrogen rises. So you got to take an AI to push it back down to a normal level. That's all that is. Super, super simple stuff, guys. And honestly, at the levels that I was talking about, a good AI that's natural is called DIM. D-I-M. You can literally buy it on Amazon. It's 200 milligrams. It's all natural. It'll bring your estrogen down naturally, and it can do it usually with the low doses like I talked about. And then lastly, you have TRT. Everyone's going to be on TRT, or at some point they should be. Just like I had said, if your test is like below 4 or 300, like, get on, because, and this is, again, is not to be cool. It's just like, if your test is low, it's just as unhealthy as if your test is way too high. If not more unhealthy, because your body needs testosterone. Like, we are men with testosterone. Like, you need testosterone. It gives you your drive. It gives you your passion. Like, it gives you your balls. Like, this is what it is. The gusto. You know what I mean? Like, so if it's getting low or you're getting older, you should probably go get some, because you'll feel a lot better. And also, this is good for ladies too, because your hormones get out of whack as you get older. If you can keep them in check, guess what? Gaining weight and losing weight, controlling your weight just got easier. Hello, we've been looking for that, right? I know there's a bunch of older guys and girls that probably aren't watching this. Hopefully, maybe you can send it to them, but you know, that are struggling to lose weight, and it's a hormone problem. And if you have a hormone problem and you can't lose weight, you can't lose weight. That's the thing. If your thyroid's off, if something with your hormones off, like, you will not be able to control your weight. Like, so it's very, and typically it's way more important in women than it is men, but just something to keep in mind. And again, TRT, I've seen, like, legally in Oklahoma, they can go up to 400 milligrams a week, which will give you tons of progress if you've never taken gear. That's my whole point. Like, so to recap, all of these options are just fine. It's just about building the foundation so that you don't look like a turd after doing all this. Like, because I mean, this was natural. And I'm sure half of you guys would love this physique right here. That was 205 pounds natural, lean. So like I was saying, guys, you know, I'm not saying don't do this stuff. Like, I'm not trying to be a gatekeeper. That's why I made this, obviously, to show you guys how to do it properly. You just got to make sure you're safe, you're healthy, you have a reason, and you know what you're doing. And again, it's not to be a gatekeeper. It's just to tell you, hey, I'm 30 now, and when you're 30, you're going to think about things a little bit different. And I'm not saying don't do it, because I don't regret what I've done. Like, look at me. I love the way I look. But I'm just saying, if I would have done it too early, if I would have done it in a not smart way, you know, thank God my health is still perfect right now. But if I wouldn't have built the foundation first, then my health would probably be in the shitter. And that's how guys end up dying at 34 or 36, because they'll just have high blood pressure their entire career, or they'll just have health markers out of whack, or they literally just like the idiots, they go in the supplement store and buy the SARMs and crank those. They'll crank gear just to get bigger and bigger and bigger, even if their body's telling them like, hey, this isn't really for us. They force themselves there, and then they die. And I don't want to see any of that. I don't want any of this to happen to any of you guys. You know, I don't care if you take drugs. Go ahead. Just be smart. That's why I made this. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Today was day 20 out of 200, prepping for my very last show. Tomorrow will be day 21, and I'll see you guys next time.